Our elections have been categorized as one of the worst in Africa. And even if you ask me as a Nigerian to vet, I will admit, because I've been going to other countries. I'm not saying things don't happen in other countries. Ahmed Bola Tinubu and the Vice President-elect, Senator Shetima, their own mood is slightly different because President Buhari has graciously served 8 years. God has helped him serve 8 years. And he's handing over, not to another political party, but he's handing over to his own political party. So the circumstances presently is quite different. But I know the mood of the country generally is because of the issues bordering on the elections. So some people are happy, some people are sad, so all kinds of sentiments and feelings. In my own time, especially the 2015 election, my ministers, my senior officers, people who worked with me, there was this fear that this one that we've lost the election, what will be our fate? Will the new government just throw all of us into jail without giving us even fair hearing? Because government is next to God and decide to do anything. That fear was in the minds of people. Some people feel, could I even run away? Should I stay in the country? But to them, that will not be much of a problem because it's the same party that is taking over. So the tension we faced then, the Buhari's team may not face the same tension. Yes, some few people may have some issues that bother them, but on the average, they will not have that kind of feeling. But it used to be tense, really. And by this time, then of course already I've considered defeat to the president. So that was completely over. And I knew why I considered defeat, because I was more interested in the country than myself, which I advise every politician to be more interested in the country than themselves. Without a country, there will be no president. So I know it used to be tense.
And how do we ensure that Nigeria comes out of the current electoral controversy through reforms that will help grow the country's democracy?
The problem we have is the electoral management body, INEC, and the security. And I used to give an example. If two soccer teams are playing and the referee decides to look the other way, they will enjoy themselves. If people are contesting for elections, should expect that it's like a soccer game. Everybody wants to win. And you must not allow it. The electoral management bodies share more than 60% of the blame. Because if they do their work well, the politicians will have no choice than to follow the rules. They, the security, and the courts. I believe one day we'll get there, but I feel sad now that our electoral process is still wobbling. So we have migrated from card reader to paper, which is a superior technology. Why do we still have problems? Manual voting, we have problems in this country. Electronic, we have. So where is the problem coming from? Is the independent is the electoral management bodies, INEC in this case. INEC has to sit up so that they will not throw this country into conflagration one day. And people must be serious. INEC must sit up. We should commission one of these internationally known IT companies. They will want to protect their image and allow them to build a system for us and also manage it during our elections. We can train our people, but they should manage it. That this last election, they say, oh, one director in charge of IT did this or did not do that. If you bring Google or one of these giants and they agree to build it and manage it for you, there will be nobody in Nigeria will not be involved. So it should be completely neutral. And probably when we get to that level where all those who have smartphones will not need to go to any place to vote. You bring out the, take it, go to your unit and press the button and you vote. You can vote in your kitchen, you can vote in your bedroom, you can vote in your sitting room, you can vote in your car. Even if you're in the US, you can vote.
Yes. Just like that of 2007 that brought you and late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua to power. Any advice to share on the best ways to resolve electoral disputes without plunging the country into a crisis?
When I took that decision, I have was not too exposed to the global election processes, and especially in Africa. And since I left office, I've been leading election observation missions. Even this year, I'm going to lead the African Union team to Zimbabwe, and the elections will come up. They already gave me the letter, pending when the government would fix the date for the election. So I've been involved in a number of elections now. But one thing about Nigeria, which I believe we must correct, and which a decision I took when I was the vice president, that if I have the opportunity to be corrected, is this idea of conduct of elections. Probably that made me to appoint somebody I did not even know to be the electoral umpire. And a number of people say you did the wrong thing. Some people felt, well, you wanted to correct something. I feel worried that in Nigeria, our elections are still so controversial. We have not accepted our electoral results. We are the giant of Africa. If we have not gone to the moon, then at least we should be in position to lead Africa in terms of democracy. We should be able to conduct free and fair elections that other African countries say, look, why not do what Nigeria has done? Why not all of us behave like Nigerians in terms of conducting their elections? Our elections have been categorized as one of the worst in Africa. And even if you ask me as a Nigerian to vet, I will admit, because I've been going to other countries. I'm not saying things don't happen in other countries, but we really, really need to improve our standard of elections. A country like Tanzania, presidential elections don't even challenge in court. Though all of us who have been leading international observation missions who have recommended that that is not the best. Even for presidential elections, the matters will go through the court process. Let people who lost the election be convinced that they lost the election. Otherwise, one day the country can implode. If somebody just boxed into a corner, you cannot even complain. It's not the best. Allow that person the leeway to complain. So to me, our own is quite good. For presidential elections, you go through two stages, appeal court and Supreme Court. For governorship elections, unfortunately, go through three stages, but I believe that aspect of the Constitution or the electoral laws will be amended. Three stages too much.
What's your wish for Nigerians as we go into this new democratic dispensation, and if there is any advice for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima?
One advice I will give, and I believe most of that will give them, is that the journey towards election passed through two major stages, the party primaries and the main general election. And all these stages, there used to be a lot of fireworks. To become the candidate, a lot of the fireworks, people will offend you. Finally, people will offend you, especially these days of social media. People write whatever they like. Sometimes it could be painful when you read such stories.